What's up, fight freaks and geeks? It's been a hot second, but we back. UFC 245, 2.5 fighter preview. It's the classic trio. Not the burger, fries, and Coke, but Fugazi, Millz, and Brother Keek in this bitch. What's up, boys?
What's up? It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot, thirsty burger.
Shout out to my boy Millz. Had his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Millz.
Thanks, guys. Best gift in the world is to discuss with you guys one of the best cards of the year. So,
Fuck right. Yeah. All right, before we get into possibly the greatest card of the year.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Yeah, man.
A lot of stuff to talk about. I think we should start off with a recap of the weekend. Busy weekend in the fight business. Starting off with some UFC. We had UFC on ESPN from Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Capital One Arena. Main event. We'll just break down the main event because there's so much to get to. Jairzinho Rosenstruck, late notice replacement, knocks out Overeem. I mean, I was on his knees out. I said, what the fuck just happened? 4 seconds to go. Two things. First of all, what do you think about the win overall, Jairzinho? And second of all, was it early? Let's start with the birthday boy, Millz.
No, I don't think it was early. I think it was actually a good stoppage.
Yeah.
You even see, I kind of like went back and forth to it, but you saw it just defies the law of gravity that this heavyweight kind of lifted off his feet, and you saw in the hit, like, not only did he just KO Overeem, but you saw his lip kind of disintegrating in midair, and the way Overeem fell, like, right on his ass and kind of just planted there, and very smart tactic of just doing the walk away. Man, I think it was a good stoppage. I called it. I called Overeem getting knocked out. Didn't really think it was going to happen that late. Told my own dad, I'm like, bet everything you got on Overeem getting knocked out. So, a good pick and good call.
Yeah,
Anything about the stoppage?
I also think it was a good stoppage. First of all, that cut was worse than the Robbie Lawler cut that he got against Rory McDonald. It was pretty brutal. He jumped into that last shot. He put everything he had into it. I also thought Rosenstruck was going to win. I didn't think that late also. And I've seen some critics say, first of all, I think the stoppage was perfect because he was stumbling to the corner and he looked pretty out of it, especially that he's taken a lot of damage over him, so pretty good to save him there. And, I just think we should look at a fight as a whole and not just say, oh, Overeem, if he was winning that fight, if he wouldn't have taken that last punch. I heard that on some other, MMA podcasts and stuff, but the fight should be judged as a whole and not up until what was happening at that point. So, yeah, I think it was a nice win, and hopefully he gets that fight against Ngannou. That would be a crazy fight.
Yeah, so Jairzinho calls out Ngannou after the win. You got to think he's going to take Overeem's spot at number 6, and yeah, he's definitely in line for a top 5 fight and probably a title shot. Yeah. Probably a title shot by the time next 2020 is up. So something else to break down over the weekend on Saturday afternoon around 4 p.m. in Saudi Arabia, Anthony Joshua became the 2-time champ, getting his belt back from the man who knocked him out a couple of months ago, and Andy Ruiz. He beats him via unanimous decision. Pretty clear-cut decision, never really in trouble. I'm torn between thinking Ruiz's game plan, I don't really know what it was, or Joshua was just really prepared, or the first fight was a fluke. So let's go back to Millz again. What do you think of Joshua's performance? And was the first fight a fluke, or I know there's some real flukes in fighting because you land a shot. That's what you're going into the fight hoping to land a shot anyway. So it's not a fluke. But what do you think about Joshua Ruiz Part 2 from Saudi Arabia?
Was the first fight a fluke Definitely not. I don't think the first fight was a fluke because Ruiz was winning rounds. He was actually outboxing Joshua in probably all of the rounds if you look back on it. To the point that he knocked him out. I believe maybe Joshua won one round. This fight was extremely weird. But if you look at it as as an analyst for boxing, you saw that Joshua cut weight. You saw that Ruiz gained weight, and you figured that the plan was that Ruiz thought he was really confident that he was going to knock him out again. Which it's unless you're Wilder, that idea is not going to happen. And Joshua it was just the perfect fight. You have the reach. You have, first of all, you're more athletic than Ruiz. Hitting harder was obviously when you're in a slug match. It was not gonna happen for Joshua. It was Ruiz's kind of tactic to winning it. You saw it. There was only one kind of little scuffle where they went toe to toe, and Ruiz had the better exchanges, and right away Joshua got took himself out of that little equation and kind of like did his little Muhammad Ali, just got out, used his footwork, utilized the jab, utilized his reach. So Joshua fought pretty much how he should have fought the first fight, and I really thought Ruiz came with a bad matchup. He's a great boxer. He's a great boxer. He has fast hands for a guy with that size. So it kind of made me wonder of why was he going to a plan of knocking him out, and at the end he was getting frustrated. Like, come on, let's fight. But that's the sweet science of boxing, where everybody's like, oh, it was a boring fight. Not really. You saw Joshua perform how he should have performed, and in that type of style of boxing, you saw the intelligence of a young fighter getting his title back, and it was a great performance on Joshua, and just a poor performance by Ruiz.
Yeah, Joshua had an excellent calculated performance. I agree with you guys in the way that you said, how could it be a fluke the first time? I have never understood that word fluke shouldn't be used in MMA, especially, or in any combat sport actually, because if you're trying to punch somebody and you punch them, it's not really a fluke. A fluke would be if Joshua was slipping, and as he's slipping down, or Ruiz, as he was slipping down, like accidentally elbows Joshua in the face and KOs him. That would be a fluke. But so if he was trying to punch him in the face and he punched him in the face and KO'd him, then that's definitely not a fluke. But yeah, back to what you were saying, I think this was a must-win for Joshua. I think he knew that better than anyone, especially if he wants to compete with the winner of Wilder and Tyson Fury. So yeah, it was a great calculated performance. Ruiz came in very overweight at 285, which is crazy, thinking that he's pretty short, 285.
He's a fat boy in there.
Yeah, holy, wow. I think it got to his head the first performance, and I think he maybe didn't train as hard as he should have. Even though it's crazy to think that he shocked the world the first time, would have been even better to do it the second time. So it's kind of weird to me for him maybe not to take it as serious, but who knows, maybe Joshua would have won either way since this performance was pretty spectacular. So yeah, great win, and we'll see what happens with him and against the winner of Wilder and Fury.
All right, real quick, just going to shoot it out there. I'll get too into detail because we got 245 to talk about, but starting with you, Millz, Joshua versus Wilder or Fury, does he beat either of them? Go.
When I was fighting, man, I always heard that the terminology, you're as good as your last fight. And it's pretty evident that you've seen that the way he fought Ruiz, yeah, his footwork was good. Yeah, the jab was on point. He cut the weight. He was a bit quicker. But I do not see, and especially at the end, I just really want to add the end with, Eddie Hearn and all that bullshit. That really kind of pissed me off and kind of, made me become really less of a fan of Joshua. Was this, big, comeback fight? It was miraculous. He went through the adversity. No, shut the fuck up. No. There was no adversity. You took your opponent lightly, which everyone's forgetting that Ruiz came in as a replacement. 5 weeks.
Exactly.
3 weeks. So, give it to Joshua. He went in, guns blazing, trying to go in the pocket with him. Obviously, you don't do that against a Mexican. He learned his lesson, but that style of fighting that, he won off points against Ruiz. His footwork compared to Fury has better footwork. His power compared to Wilder has more power. There's nothing that he did in that fight with Ruiz that kind of made it seem that, he's a problem for Fury or Wilder. I don't think he causes any problems. I think he needs a couple more fights before he enters that equation. Usyk is a great fight for him. Undefeated cruiserweight, now going to heavyweight. I think that's the next matchup for Joshua, but Joshua is not ready for the type of caliber boxer that Fury and Wilder brings to the table.
Yeah, I
think could he have Wilder or Fury?
Pretty much the same thing. After seeing that fight with Ruiz and the last fight he had with Ruiz, I just don't see where he would pose some issues for either Wilder or Fury. Like you said, his movement, his defense, I don't think it's anywhere as close as Fury. His powers, of course, not anywhere as close as Wilder. So I don't see how he would win that. I don't know what tools he has to beat any of those two, but anything could happen, and I'm just really excited to see that. It would be nice to see Joshua added in that mix, since everyone talks so much about Fury and Wilder, and it would be nice to have Joshua in that mix also. And where do you think Andy Ruiz goes from here?
Honestly, I think a good fight for him would be against Big King Kong Ortiz. I think that's a very
I agree.
Yeah, that's an interesting fight, and honestly, if the fight with Joshua and Usyk doesn't happen, I think that's a good matchup for him to fight as well. Because now Ruiz is kind of like not a superstar, but now he's become well known,
pretty popular. Yeah,
and I think that's a good fight for him to get his name out there and to see what that could bring. Because now the heavyweight division is kind of open right now. It's been like the longest time that's ever happened. Ever since like the golden age of the heavyweight division with Tyson, Lennox Lewis. So now it's a good thing to, like you said, it was you said the perfect thing. Everyone's been talking about Joshua, Wilder, and Fury. Well, now let's add some other guys into the mix instead of just the top three. Let's get some more guys in there and see, the heavyweight division right now. I think we could get some more names in there.
Yeah, well said, boys. Personally, I think Wilder has too much power for Joshua. I think it's too much. And if he eats the same shot that Fury ate in round 12, I don't think he gets up. And if you're going to box, just a technical boxing fight, I think Fury is the best there is right now at heavyweight. So I would take Fury as well. All right, enough of the gay shit. Let's talk about the real shit, the shit that people give a fuck about. UFC 245. Saturday, December 14th on T-Mobile Arena, Paradise, Nevada. Oh my God, this card, boys. There's so much to talk about. We're just going to talk about the main card, but going through the prelims, I mean, Immortal Matt Brown, former heroin addict, takes Ben Chinless Saunders.
Out of all the things to remember him for.
Dan Heinisch takes on Omar Akhmadov. Caitlin Vieira, possibly the next title contender against Amanda Nunes, takes on Irene Aldana. And oh my God, Jeff Neal versus Mike Perry. We're not even going to talk about these fights, even though they're so fucking good. Let's jump right into it. The first fight of the night, ladies and gents, 26-year-old Piotr Yan, fighting out of Russia, coming in with a 13-1 record. He's taking on the California kid, your 40-year-old Uriah Faber, coming off that impressive first-round TKO of Ricky Simon, number 12, versus Piotr Yan, who is number 4 in the bantamweight division. You got to think winner of this one potentially gets a title fight against Henry Cejudo. Piotr Yan coming in as a huge favorite, the biggest favorite on the card, minus 450. Uriah Faber, huge dog money, plus 350. Who do you like? Akik.
I think Uriah is in over his head. I think this is Jan's time, and he deserves to be that huge favorite, especially on this card. I think that last fight against Ricky Simon, although very impressive, let's be honest here, Uriah is like 40 years old, and this seems like Jan in his prime. I would love for a fairy tale story, we're close to Christmas. I'd love for Uriah Faber to win and then fight for another title shot. That would be amazing. But let's be honest here. Jan should take this one. What do you think, Millz?
Oh, man, honestly, this is tough for me because usually I would be like, Jan is gonna kill him. He's gonna break him down. He's a younger guy. It's his time. But the fact that Uriah is coming for the right reasons. He's not coming for the money. We all know he makes a lot of coin.
Yeah.
But he's coming here because he feels like he's smarter now. He has the years of experience that Uriah has. Is going to take forever for Jan to hit that stride. Uriah right now, knocking out a guy in Simone is like one of the most impressive things probably in the career of Uriah Faber, for the fact that this guy is a former WEC champion. I think Uriah he's been in these moments. He's fought the best of the best. The bright lights doesn't bother him, and I think because of the power that this event brings, when we talk about it, like us as hardcore fight fans, like we freak out, like we're on the verge of having a heart attack. When I watch this card on Saturday, I need paramedics to be next to me at all times, counting my blood pressure, because this event you talk about it, we're gonna go, we're gonna dissect this. This podcast is probably gonna be like 5 hours because we're going balls deep into this. And when I mean balls deep, I mean we're gonna go really balls deep to the fact that Peter Yan, he hasn't been there yet. He hasn't been there yet, and this is opening up the main event. Obviously you're not at the headliner, but you're opening this up, and this is gonna be really big. I think Yan might freeze under pressure. I think Uriah is actually gonna pull off the upset and probably grind it out in a decision. I think you'd be surprised Uriah Faber is gonna take him down a couple of times, and obviously the striking, I would give the striking to Yan, but don't be surprised my boy Uriah Faber takes this over decision.
Wow, so we're split on this one. Uriah Faber, Piotr Yan, undefeated in the UFC, 5 straight victories, 2 of those coming by TKO. If I got to throw my pick in real quick, I would take Piotr Yan. I think he gets it done. I think this fight stays on the feet. And Piotr Yan, he's just a world-class boxer. I'll give it to Piotr. Picks up who he's going to pick apart Uriah Faber on the feet. But, yeah, great way to start off this great card. Mm-hmm. Moving on to the next fight, another bantamweight bout. I know I said winning that fight might get a title shot, but I think I misspoke, forgetting that Magic Mazimaz takes on Jose Aldo.
Hell of a fight.
Bantamweight. This is a fight that, we all play UFC, the video game. This is a fight that you pick these two guys in the game and you just leg kick and head kick and flying and spinning elbow each other until somebody fucking dies. Marlon Moraes, the number 1 bantamweight in the world right now, coming off a TKO loss. Henry Cejudo takes on Jose Aldo Jr. Obviously never fought at bantamweight. Personally, I think he's way too big for the weight class, but whatever. Jose Aldo plus 170 underdog, huge dog, Jose Aldo. I don't know if he's ever been a bigger dog than this in his career. Takes on Magic Marlon Moraes, minus 200 favorite. Who you got, Mills?
This is not news. We've all seen the pictures. A lot of fighters commented on this, and I do not. And we say this a lot of times. When a fighter goes down in weight, it's not the right move. I really thought that Jose Aldo was gonna go to lightweight. I think that was a smart move for him. There's so many more intriguing fights for him out there in the lightweight division. He really looks. He reminds me of Conor when Conor used to go down in that weight. I think it's a really bad matchup for you to even start off at the 135. Like at least more of a tune-up fight, which we all know it doesn't happen in MMA. But god damn, when you talk about entering a division, you're entering a guy in in Marlon Moraes, that's not a slouch. And like you said, in video games, we're going to see the highest level of striking. But where are we going to see Jose? Are we going to see a Jose like TJ when he went down to 125? Are we going to see, I really think it's a bad move, and I am talking about the weight mostly because I think that's what kind of really strikes me in this one. Obviously, if this was at 145, I would definitely favor Jose. Jose is his speed, his power. Like, look at the people he's knocked out. Look at the wins he got against. Jose Aldo is phenomenal. He is ranked a pound for pound greatest featherweight of all time. But I think this is a really bad matchup for him going down the weight because by him going to 135, I think he's going to be slower. I don't think he's going to have the power. And I think the 24 hours for him to get the weight back, I don't think he planned that out strategically. So I would probably think that Marlon Moraes will win. And I think he would actually finish Jose. And maybe that will tell Jose either go up in weight or maybe a retirement.
Yeah, I also, first question that came up, we mentioned this also on the last podcast, like what the hell was Jose's team thinking to make him go down in weight, given that he was one of the bigger featherweights, especially he's so muscular. He's not just big, like where he holds a lot of fat, he's really muscular at that division, so I can't ever, I remember guys when they were talking about him going up and fighting Anthony Pettis at 155, remember that a couple of years ago?
Oh, that was great.
That was crazy. That's when Anthony Pettis was at his prime too. It's also, I don't know, I get the feeling like Aldo, he's trying to find himself lately. Like I think he feels as though, and we all saw it, and I think also deep down, I don't think he thinks he could ever beat Max since he had those two performances and he got finished both times. Now he got finished, but he lost to Volkanovski also. I think he's trying to, his team also, I think they're trying to find him. Like, where does he belong? Because we tend to think he's old, right? He's actually not that old. I think he's like in his early 30s. He's like, 32 or something? Maybe 31. He's not that old, Aldo. Can somebody check that after just to be sure? But he does have a lot of miles on him. And, I don't know. I just think this is a first fight in a new division against somebody who just contended for the title. Especially with how the last fight went for Marlon Moraes, that, he got mentally broken. Could that play a factor? I don't know. Could that be used as motivation in this fight as like a must-win for Marlon Moraes? Like, who's this guy coming down to our weight class? So I think Aldo's in over his head, but if there's one person who can pull it off, it could be Aldo, just because of all his experience, and he does have a good amount of power with him, but I just think Moraes might be too fast for him, especially at that division, and especially with the weight cut. How is that going to affect his ability to take a punch? Which a lot of times people cut a lot of weight, right? Their ability to take a punch, they've even said it after, well, I cut too much weight. It was easier for me to go down. So I think it's a really, really tough matchup for Jose. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, so Jose actually 33 years old.
Okay, 33.
Marlon 31. Look, this I think... The
miles, though, is crazy for all.
Yeah, the miles are on Jose. I mean, he's been KO'd 3 times in the UFC. Obviously, Holloway twice, and Conor McGregor. His only other loss in the UFC is to Volkanovski, who we're going to talk about shortly. But this is probably the toughest fight for me to pick on the whole card. I need to see if Aldo can even weigh in, first of all. And we've seen him weigh in at 45 where he was like going to die. So... I mean, fuck. You know what I mean? This is really mind-boggling, like when you put your mind in a bottle. But I'm taking fucking Aldo, man. If Aldo's healthy and pound for pound, I'll take him and just bang leg kick for leg kick and power for power. I'll take Aldo over almost anybody. Of course not Holloway or Conor. But if you're just going to go Muay Thai for Muay Thai, I'm going to take Aldo to get the job done against Moraes. A 3-round fight, I think it's good for both guys. They're both very explosive. They could let it all go for 3 rounds. And
imagine if Aldo wins and he fights Cejudo. How odd of a fight is him against Cejudo. Actually, I think, not to talk about the future too much, but I think if Aldo would beat Moraes, I think him versus Cejudo, he might be a much better matchup for him. I don't know why. His takedown defense has always been amazing. Cejudo would be a lot smaller. So I don't know. That's
no, I don't bet against Cejudo no more.
No, I'm just saying, I don't know. I think with just strike for strike, I don't know, Moraes just seems a little faster. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. He needs to get through Marlon first.
Yeah, and I want to mention too, and the fact that I have Drew here as proof. I remember one of my last fights, I dropped down 30 pounds. I dropped out 30 pounds. And it's kind of different because I weighed in the same day and I was the second fight. But just to say, the feeling that you have when you drop that weight, and if you even think about it, in people like that haven't fought before, just think about it. You're dropping, and Aldo is dropping serious pounds. I would imagine he's dropping about 35 pounds. For a human body to drop that amount of weight in a small amount of time, people usually do that like in a year. You know, they lose 10 pounds in like 3 months. It's very impressive. These guys are losing 35 pounds in about an 8-week span. The fact that you could bring in science, you could bring in the greatest guys. I go back to TJ because he was working with this mastermind scientist in the lab, but we later on found out he was doing EPO. So that was just but imagine with EPO, he still
even with that
he still got decimated. He got destroyed. It's not normal for the human anatomy to cut that much weight. And when I cut that weight, I was in the fight. The first 15 seconds, man, I felt like I was Superman. I was throwing punches that the guy couldn't see. But then for the last 3 rounds, I couldn't do anything. I didn't have the ability to do anything, to kick, to punch, to even defend myself. I was just absorbing shots, and I ended up losing that match by decision. And it's just to bring up the point that if there's no energy, you got no fat to burn, what are you going to do in a fight? There's nothing to do. And the fact that he's doing it against one of the, probably I would say the best striker in the 135 division.
For sure. Yeah, crazy.
Completely agree with that, Millz. I remember seeing you that day and thinking, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, that's a story for another day. So now we're already getting into the title fights. The first title fight of the night, the bantamweight division, women's bantamweight division. The number 1 bantamweight challenger in the world, Germaine de Randamie, the Iron Lady, Dutch kickboxer who's fought men and beat them in kickboxing.
Yeah, I watched a lot of
men in kickboxing. She is 9-3. She's on a 5-fight winning streak. She's a former and first UFC women's featherweight champion. Her last loss was 2013 against Amanda Nunes via TKO. She takes on said Amanda Nunes, who is not only the number 1 woman in the world, but the number 5 overall. And I think this is even being a little, stingy with that. Number 5, you could argue she's number 1 UFC pound for pound fighter in the world. Beaten Julia Budd, Germaine de Randamie, Valentina Shevchenko twice. Finished Misha Tate in round 1. Finished Ronda Rousey in round 1. Finished Chris Cyborg in round 1. Finished Holly Holm in round 1. Oh my God, the GOAT. Amanda Nunes. I don't give a fuck what the odds are. Mine is 275 Nunes, which I think is free money. Germaine de Randamie plus 225 underdog. No one can beat Nunes ever. I'll give you my pick before I let you guys talk because I'm obsessed with Amanda Nunes. She's the best that ever was, best that ever will be woman. Nunes gonna kill her. You guys go. Millz started off. Nunes versus me for the belt, for the bantamweight belt.
I don't think it's normal that I watch more film on this fight than the next 2, which
This is a great fight.
Yeah,
it's a great fight.
I can't wait for the Colby because I've been riding Colby since day 1. And I'm happy that a lot of people are joining the train, but we'll talk about that very soon. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of film on this, and you guys are gonna freak out when I tell you this, but I think Chris might be on my side just by a little margin. I've been watching a lot of film on on both these women, and I'm gonna go by the saying, like I said before, you have to judge a fighter by its last fight and a couple of the fights. I watched the Cyborg Amanda fight a lot of times, and it obviously you watch that fight 1,000 times. It's pretty much you've been watching it for 10 minutes. That fight was so quick. During that fight, Amanda does take risks. She does take risks, and they're not very calculated. When you're fighting Cyborg, which ultimately is a man, we will find that out soon. There'll be some reports and some scientific like something's gonna happen. I'm gonna find out that Cyborg was really a guy the whole time. Amanda Nunes in that exchange did not care. It wasn't there wasn't no tactic, there wasn't no skill. It was who hits harder in the first minute, go. And Amanda Nunes just connected because of her reach and her power. Now, she got tagged. I look at Durandamine. Look at her. Look how she knocked out Lad. And look how Nunes knocked out Cyborg. An overhand and a straight right. Now, a lot of the fights we see Conor now, though, it's the straight right. We see many times that it's the straight right. It's not the looping overhand rights that knock out people. Yes, a lot of times it is, but the clean shots that people die is the straight right. I see Amanda starting quick off the gate, and I could see Durandamine knocking her out. I could see Durandamine knocking out Nunes. It's a very small window. But if Nunes comes in firing, and because she already got the knockout win, she's not going to take her that lightly. She's going to be very confident. She's going to be in the moment. There's also the fact that a little bit of anger plays in because how is she not the main event where she is a champion in 2 divisions and is the greatest, probably pound for pound fighter, obviously the best woman fighter of all time, but the top 3 a pound to pound fighter. I could see her making an error and Durandamine hitting it with her reach and the technique. I could see Durandamine knocking out Amanda Nunes in the first round.
Wow. That's Look, if there's one thing I learned, and I think as us 3 being huge MMA fans, anything could happen. There's the least amount of possibility for something, and then it ends up happening. So if it were to happen, I'd be very surprised, I have to admit. Her striking is pretty spectacular, but I just think, yes, in that Cyborg fight, Amanda Nunes showed more of like a brawling style. But just earlier today, I rewatched the Holly Holm fight, and in that fight, it was so picture perfect, that head kick, as Holly Holm was throwing that inside leg kick she does to the right underneath the knee. Amanda threw a beautiful right head kick that was like a fucking baseball bat. They replayed it. I think they replayed it like 10 times after to hear the sound of it. So I think when she really wants to time something, she could. But yeah, she does have tendency to start brawling. Doesn't mean it's necessarily bad just because she hits so goddamn hard. Could I see Durandamine countering her with a right hand? Honestly, now that you said that, I could see it. I just think, Amanda, this is her time. As Drew said, she's the GOAT for real. And I don't know. Especially after this fight, I think that she beat Shevchenko twice. It's so impressive. And after Cyborg, I just think it would be pretty weird ending to the story to lose Germaine Durandamine. Not saying Germaine Durandamine is horrible. She had a good fight against Holly. She won. She probably shouldn't have won that fight. And then she kind of pretended to hurt her hand or something, so she didn't have to fight Terminator Cyborg at that time. Yeah. But, I think Amanda takes it by knockout, but I've seen crazier things, to be honest. What do you think, Joe? Do you agree with Millz?
I'm all deep on Nunes. I mean, her fights are getting easier, which sounds crazy. Cyborg, Holm didn't even touch her. Cyborg didn't even touch her, which is crazy to say. I think she's too angry. She wants to take Germaine down and have her way with her anyway down there, ground and pound, submit her.
Yeah,
Germaine is amazing. Germaine. I'm a big fan of Germaine too. I love Germaine. She's a great striker. She's entertaining. She gets a lot of hate. I don't know why. I don't think she was scared to fight Cyborg. She's fighting the girl who just killed Cyborg.
Yeah.
So I don't think any fighter is scared of anybody, to be honest. But that's another story.
But I also want to mention the Brazilian curse, man. All the greatest Brazilian fighters, they all follow the same exact way. They all get knocked out. Each single one of them.
Sure.
Each single one of them, man. We could go down a list, and I'm excited to go. The greatest of all time, Anderson Silva, gets knocked out by Chris Weidman. The greatest of all time, and Jose Aldo gets knocked out by Max Holloway.
Yeah, it's true.
One of the at that point, he was going to be the greatest heavyweight champion of all time because he beat the best, and Verdum gets knocked out by Stipe.
I'm with you on that. Just you have to pressure the Brazilian. Barao gets knocked out by TJ. Yeah, we can keep going. I know.
Yeah, Brazilians have a curse.
And to agree with your point, the fighters that you saw hauling home did not pressure. Cyborg does pressure, but Nunes just took it straight to her and killed her. Yeah. Pennington didn't really pressure her. Rousey didn't pressure her. Shevchenko doesn't really pressure her. And Germaine is not really a come forward, try and kill you. She's going to stand there, wait it out, feel it out, and have a
striker.
Basically. Yeah. So I don't think that's going to hurt Nunes. I think that's perfect for Nunes. Look, eventually Nunes is probably going to get knocked out. It's not Saturday. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, 31 years old, in her prime. I mean, fuck. I just can't. I don't see anybody beating Nunes right now. That's basically what I'm saying. But definitely a great fight. Definitely looking forward to this fight more than the next fight, which is crazy. But let's jump right into it. It's the featherweight men title fight. Max Bless Holloway. We've seen him fight live. We all love him. He's a great guy. 28 years old only.
Yeah.
Number 7. We got a lot of pound for pound action.
Yeah, just a hell of a card.
7 pound for pound in the world. Arguably the best featherweight of all time. Defended his belt against Jose Aldo. TKO. Brian Ortega, we saw that live. TKO. Frankie Edgar, he was weight with Dustin Poirier. Of course, it was at lightweight. He has not lost at featherweight since 2013 when he fought Conor McGregor. He takes on
Dustin Poirier too.
The Conor McGregor was the last featherweight loss. Featherweight loss. Yeah, he did lose to Poirier twice, though. He did lose to him at featherweight as well. He got mounted triangle armbar. But yeah, he takes on former rugby player, former
214 pounds,
Alexander the Great Volkanovski, number 1 record of 20-1, undefeated in the UFC. That is going to be 7 in a row. Has not lost since 2013, coming off a big win over Jose Aldo. This guy's the real deal, that's for sure. But can he take out Bless Holloway? Max Holloway, minus 170, not a great favorite for Max Holloway, plus 140 underdog for Volkanovski. Who do we like in this featherweight bout? Let's start it off with Millz.
First of all, I just want to ask you guys, is it very weird that out of the 3, all 3 title fights are, insane and out of this world? But is it weird that this fight's insane, but in some weird way, it's the less favorite out of the 3?
I'm with you.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of people are saying that. I heard it too, and it is weird because of how exciting Max is. Is it because, and I'll let you finish your point, Millz, but is it because a lot of people think Volkanovski's such a threat that, for some reason, I don't know. It's do people want to see Max go? I find it weird that no one really cares about it too much. It's pretty fucked up. Anyway, continue your point, Millz.
No, I just wanted to ask you guys because, I find it very weird. I don't know why. I love Max, but I don't really understand why out of the 3, this should be just a main event. This is its own.
Yeah,
it should be its own card. So I don't understand.
For sure. I don't know. It is something to think about, and yeah, I feel that too. I feel like it's the one I forget, and I don't know. If Max was on any other fight as a main event, I would think that's fucking amazing. So I don't know.
Well, I'll ask you two. I'll ask you guys a question because I go back and forth and I watch that. If you guys didn't watch that countdown, oh god, oh man, I just drowned myself in that countdown for how great it is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But we talk about Holloway and featherweight. Obviously, there's He goes through the division. He destroys Hall of Famers. He destroys up and coming contenders. What do you both think causes Max the biggest threat? What's the biggest advantage that Volkanovski has in this matchup?
Drew, you want to take it or you want me to start?
The biggest threat to Max?
No, that Volkanovski possesses. What's his biggest threat? Is that what you're asking, Mills, or just in general?
Well, yeah, we go just in general. What do you think? How could he win this fight? What's the biggest what's the biggest fault you see in Max Holloway's game that can make him lose this match? Because I think that's what makes it makes this fight really appealing, is the fact that Max has the chance to lose, whereas other fights, we kind of favored Max more.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I don't think Volkanovski has a chance in this fight. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think he's going to be able to take Max down. And what is he going to do? Stand there and bang with Max? Try and power punch him? That's not going to work either. Max is going to jab his face in all night and box with him all night. Look, Max only lost to Dustin Poirier. He's a fucking lightweight.
Yeah.
He was a straight killer, can go 5 rounds just as hard as Max. He beat him once in the past. I'm sure Max was thinking about that. It's not his natural weight, even though Max is humongous. I mean, Volkanovski's 5'6", short, stocky. If his only chance is to land a big shot on Max, it's not going to happen. Max could go all day, all night. He's going to keep pressuring him, keep killing him. After 2 rounds, Volkanovski will have no power left. He won't be able to do anything. Poirier beat him clinically boxing him. I mean, and we were shocked. We were shocked watching that fight. We watched that fight together. I did not think Poirier was going to be able to do that to Max. Poirier, we're not going to. Volkanovski's fantastic, but I don't think we're going to compare Poirier pound for pound to Volkanovski yet.
No.
So what is he going to? Unless, Volkanovski's wrestling is so good and I underestimated him, but Frankie couldn't take Max down at all. And Frankie and Volkanovski's wrestling, I don't know, I'd probably wash it up as a draw. So if you're going to stand and bang with Max.
A draw?
Frankie Edgar's wrestling is fantastic.
A draw? You not just listen to what Chris said.
It's a wash.
You not listen to what Chris just said. This guy weighed in at 218 pounds in rugby.
Very strong. Very strong. Aldo even said he's the strongest guy he ever fought. Fine. That's fantastic. But look, if the fight starts and Volkanovski double-legging Max, picking him up, slamming him on his head, yeah, fine. He's going to win with the wrestling. But don't tell me that he's going to stand there and bang with Max. He's going to get killed.
You don't think he would bang?
He's too long. He's too rangy. He's going to hit him with 10-piece fucking combinations. Volkanovski's going to get killed.
To the body.
Kill.
I don't know what Mill's opinion is, but this is mine. Look, I think so far, in all of Max's fights, the only negative I've seen, I honestly don't know what else could be a negative. He's been almost a perfect fighter. The only negative, I guess, would be he lost in kind of to power punching against Poirier. That's pretty much all it was, and it was just the weight issue. I really think there's much more to even talk about in terms of negative of Max. His distance is some of the best we've ever seen. Literally just forget about that Dustin Poirier fight just because it was at a bigger weight class. I don't really hold him accountable for anything negative there, but his distance is amazing. His cardio is amazing. His takedown defense is really good. On the ground, he's no slouch either. His control, his combinations, his speed, his defense, everything's pretty. If it was in the game, he should get a lot higher than what he has now. Everything could be almost at 99. So I admit there's something about Volkanovski. I don't know what it is. I'm going to be completely honest. He seems like a threat. When you actually dissect the fight, and I watched the fight with Volkanovski and Chad Mendes earlier this week, and he got dropped by Mendes twice. Yeah, he got dropped by Mendes twice. He got taken down by Mendes 5 times. I'm impressive. I understand Mendes was really good. He did knock him out, but Mendes looked gassed as hell. So in terms of that fight, the Aldo fight, he looked really good. Aldo said he was the strongest guy ever fought. When you actually look at it, though, I just don't know exactly where Volkanovski would beat Max. I agree he is a threat. I think it's his strength maybe. Like he might be able to hold him down. We've never really seen Max in that position. Connor held him down, but this was a long time ago. So, I don't know. It is an interesting fight. I think Max should take it with his experience, and his experience in like big title fights. But I don't know, Millz, where do you think Volkanovski, where do his strengths over Max come in? I can't see them.
Well, like you brought up a very good example. I think you could see a lot of that from the Chad Mendes fight. And Drew brings a great point. Max, as a boxer and as probably a kickboxer, poses so many threats. He's long. He throws crazy combinations, not just the just the 1, 2, 3s. Man, he throws in 4, 5, 6 combinations. It's really incredible. But then when we see the Chad Mendes fight, like you said, Chad gasses out. Now, yeah, we've seen Chad gas out against Connor, against a couple other opponents. But yeah. I think it's the constant pressure, and I think that a type of guy like Volkanovski, he could keep up. I think he could beat a guy that could trap Max in the corner and hit him for 5 rounds. I think it's something very we don't see it often, and he could probably take down Max. I seen him train. The guy weighed in at 218 pounds in rugby, which I think rugby and MMA, I think it's the roughest sports on the planet. You see these rugby players, it's crazy how many times these guys like face ACL injuries, MCL injuries. The worst injuries you get in sports, it happens more rugby than actual MMA, like in game time. Like in fights, it's very rare you hear a guy in a fight, I tore my ACL. It's mostly in training camp. But rugby, it happens on point. This guy has raw strength in grappling, which I think is going to be a big factor, and he has hands. I don't think he's going to play that fight that, he's going to play the distance and whatnot. I think he's going to go in, he's going to be dirty, he's going to be aggressive, he's going to take Max to the cage. If he doesn't do that, he's going to get collapsed. Like, he's going to get destroyed. But he knows his strengths. I think it's that pressure, and it's the consistency of that pressure that's what's going to get him a possible win. Now, do I think he's going to win? He has a great chance. I think this fight is 50-50.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, 50-50. I think Max is going to have to start early and gain that control in the striking, stay at a distance, and try to pop out that jab, like Drew said. I think that's a really good path he should take to victory. But, yeah, maybe Volkanovski could get him against the cage, use that strength, and kind of like muscle him around. But honestly, I think after the first round, we'll be able to judge a lot better.
Yeah, we're gonna see exactly like where he is. Like if Max takes the tempo, he engages, maybe he could get him gassed out, or it's the opposite. I really think it's to the point that whoever engages first is going to be the victor. Now, I could definitely see either man knocking each other out, and I think it's just who would come up with the pace. Obviously, Max Holloway took bombs from Dustin Poirier, and we could just argue all day who hits harder, Dustin or this freak of a nature that used to weigh 218 pounds. It's a toss up, but the better boxing goes to Dustin. Dustin couldn't put Max away, so I don't know. But at the same time, how much could Max take? How much more could he punishment could he take at only 29 years old, 28?
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, one of these days, Max, he loves to just throw down in the pocket. I don't think he could do that against Volkanovski. It's a very dangerous move, but yeah, I mean, against Lamas, he 8 shots. Against Stevens, he 8 shots. Against Jose, he 8 shots. I mean, I think late against Poirier, obviously 8 shots, but I think, he's mature enough now that he knows, like against Ortega, he didn't need shots, he didn't stand and bang. Against Frankie, he didn't stand and bang. I think he's realizing, or at least he realizes that he can't just keep doing that if he wants longevity in his career. But, look, no, 50-50 doesn't cut it on this cast. You're going to need a pick.
Pick?
Yeah, I'm going to need a pick. I think I know where you're leaning, but I need it for the record.
You need it for the record books?
I need it for the record. Our listeners want to know where to place their money.
I'm gonna give you something that's to be very very dirty. I'm telling you a dirty pick, and it's gonna be a pick for all the fights. Mark my words. Well, don't mark my words because I'm wrong about a lot of shit. The only things I'm right about is about like how the fight kind of plays out. I could tell you how the fight will play out, but the final thing, I go either way. But here, I believe in this event, in this card, we're getting not one, not two, but 3 new champions.
Oh my God! NU. Interesting, very interesting.
It's gonna be an event.
I'll mark you down for.
It's mark that down for the record that we don't know what's gonna happen. It's been a long time since we had an event that. How did it happen? I don't know. It was like it reminds me.
NU is.
It's like the
New
Nate
York.
Diaz. It's like the Nate Connor.
GSP versus Bisping. Yeah,
exactly. It was GSP, NU, middleweight, TJ Dillashaw, NU, and Rose Namajunas, NU. That was the last time we had NU. We'll see if it can happen again, but it's a perfect segue into the main event. I was talking to Millz earlier today, and actually, I was telling him, Tony and Khabib obviously is a fight that's like, oh my God, dream fight. But this main event, I don't know if it's the promo, if it's the build up, if it's I don't know. And I'm a big fan of Tyron Woodley, that's for sure. But I can't remember being this excited for a welterweight bout since. I'm even more excited for this than probably any of GSP's fights. This is another pound-for-pound contender, Kamaru, the Nigerian nightmare, Marty faking Usman, Marty from Nebraska, the number 10 UFC pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Kamaru Usman, 15-1 record, and Colby with another 15-1 record. He's number 2 welterweight in the world. 31 years old. I mean, the similarities between these guys is crazy. 31 Colby, 32 Usman. 6 feet Kamaru, 5'11 Colby. Same record. They only have 1 loss each, and that's by submission. Guys they both beat in RDA by decision. Damian Maia by decision. Decision animals. Colby Division 1. Kamaru Division 2. Colby coming off a win over Robbie Lawler. Just destructive win. Usman coming off a one-sided performance against Tyron Woodley to win the belt. I mean, the similarities are endless between these two. Great strikers, great wrestlers, cardio for days. Yeah. Clovis, California versus Auchi, Nigeria. Let's start this one off.
We'll start it off. Look,
Kamaru
fight
versus Colby Covington for the welterweight strap.
Okay, look.
Give me that pick.
This fight, before the pick, I think deserves a serious dissection. I don't think we could just give a pick. I think we need to talk a little bit more about it. Okay, look. From the outside, when you look at this fight, these two men seem pretty much similar in their fighting style and their cardio and all sorts of things. But when you actually dig deeper, there's a lot of fucking differences in this fight, and that's something that makes it interesting. They're similar, but also very different. Let's go deep in this one. If you look at it, everything's pretty similar, height and all that. The only big difference you see is reach. I think Kamaru's a 76. I think Colby's a 72. But then you ask yourself, Usman isn't much of a striker, right? Doesn't really strike from the distance, so that reach that he has over Colby might not even make really a difference. So automatically, look how much more interesting it becomes. The one thing you think one guy might have over the other, it still doesn't really pose much of a threat, I think, but who the fuck knows. Wrestling. It's fucking impossible to say who's a better wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, they both do, their wrestling style is just so, like, prominent in each of their fights. Colby strikes a lot more. His volume is a lot higher in striking. But then you look against Tyron Woodley, Usman, I think against the fence, I rewatched that fight recently too. I think he landed 105 body shots, which is insane. What is going to happen? I honestly, this is one of the greatest fights of the year. I think, along with that Khabib and Tony fight, this is a hell of a fight, and I want to hear some more dissections before we start giving picks. Millz, what do you think?
Oh man, you bring on a lot of good points, and Drew brings out good points too. And the one thing that I want to see, and I think we're gonna have the ability to see, is that the cardio. Could Usman withstand the cardio of Colby? And that's something that took me really early on. And I think Drew's gonna remember that I said it very early that you guys gotta watch out for this kid, because he's one of those guys that is a wrestler. He started as a wrestler and has a weird striking. You look at that, the basics of striking. He's not crisp. He's not the best boxer.
Mm-hmm. No, kicks, definitely not.
His kicks are not it's basic kicks. He's very average, but his cardio is insane, and he could do this for 5 rounds. And I think that's kind of the thing that won a lot of people over. The Damian Maia fight, he was going, but hey, it's Damian Maia, right? Anyone could outstrike Damian Maia. That we saw against RDA. I think the RDA fight was the breaking out party.
Eye-opener, yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Like, he did this to RDA. RDA killed Pettis. RDA killed guys with his cardio alone. His cardio did the job.
Pressure is amazing.
Yeah, and you have a guy in Colby who took him down, who's not afraid of RDA's jiu-jitsu, not afraid of Damian Maia's jiu-jitsu, still took him down, controls very well, strikes at a high volume that reminds us all about the duo brothers of Nick and Nate. He possesses so many ways to win the fight. I say this because I'm very biased too. I love Colby. I love the moniker that he builds. Everyone's like, oh, fuck Colby and Trump. I love Trump. I love Colby. I love this WWE act that he's doing. This is an act. This is not really Colby. People talk about Colby, what he is. Yeah, you see him with the nerds and virgins. I love that shit. I love him being with strippers. I love him being with whores. I like him being fucking at the pool. But it's an act. This guy is in the gym 4 times a day, 6 days a week. He is training. This guy in the off season still is ripped, still has a 6-pack. Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
He's at the gym all the time. He talks his game, but he's there. He's always there. And I think it's just the pace. And it's kind of hard too, because we can ask each other, what do you see that's likely going to happen? Usman getting taken down or Colby getting taken down? It's never happened, but in this fight, it's going to happen to somebody. I think it's going to happen more for Usman, because Colby has that type of pressure that he's going to go and not gas out. Usman is very, against Woodley, he was just dragging Woodley to the cage. It wasn't doing the stuff that Colby does, whereas Colby will throw the 1-2, go for the double leg, and hold the double leg for a while, come back to the striking, go back to the double leg. He really goes back and forth with his level changes, which I think is pretty, if someone's grabbing your leg all the way down, you're going to be exhausted. Then he comes back, he hits you, goes back down. It's like, okay, this guy's not getting off me. We don't see that a lot with Usman. Usman just takes you down and controls you. Whereas Colby does so many different things at once. You're like, okay, what the fuck? He did this to Robbie Lawler. That's the most impressive thing. Obviously, Usman's most impressive win is Woodley, and Colby's most impressive win is Lawler. But, holy shit. We can go more into it. Drew, take it away, because I'm going to be fucking, my pants are for Colby.
We're going to go all night with this one.
Yeah, no, I think you guys said it best. I think the wrestling, look, these guys also fucking hate each other, so they want to just kill each other.
That's what I wanted to say, yeah.
So I think if the wrestling nullifies, I haven't really seen Usman strike at all, ever. He knocked out Sergio Moraes, with that perfect shot, and he did that somersault cartwheel KO there. I love those, but if they're going to stand their bag, I just think this fight is so even. I think it's so crazy. I think both guys have their moments in the fight. I think they could take each other down. I just think the way Colby strikes I think it's going to make him seem like he's doing a little bit more, and I think he will do a little bit more, and he'll be able to pull off a decision win. I think this one goes full 5. I hope it goes full 5. I want to see these guys go for as long as possible. I want to see them shit talk to each other. I don't think either of them gassed out, and I also think they both really don't want to lose to each other. Colby's talked so much shit, he can't afford to lose to anybody. And Usman also, at this point, has talked so much shit about how he's on a different level than Colby. He doesn't belong in there. You know, he just beat Woodley. Usman, I mean, if either one of these guys beats the other one convincingly, I mean, that's a serious victory. These guys both seem unstoppable right now. I just think both guys are going to be a little bit hesitant. I'm not saying it's going to be a boring fight. Colby's rarely in boring fights. But Usman is, unfortunately, he found himself in some boring fights. I think both guys are a bit hesitant. They both really don't want to lose, maybe more than they want to win.
Good point.
So I think Colby just does a little bit more, just enough to sway the judges in his favor. I think it's probably a split decision. Probably see a rematch. But yeah, just a few things you guys both touched on. Yes, Millz. I know you've been dick riding Colby, and it took me a long time to get on that Colby train. But yes, and also it is all an act. I did meet Colby in New York, and he is actually the nicest guy on earth. So, yeah, I'll take Colby via decision, probably a split decision. But I just want to say one very important thing, that the winner of this fight does not matter, because either man will get KO'd by Jorge Masvidal. That's a story for another day. And thing about the fucking welterweight division, that the winner of this fight fights Jorge, and then potentially fights Conor.
Insanity.
I mean, welterweight division. Colby said, "Let's make welterweight great again." He did it.
He did it. Another fun fact for you. Colby, in the fights with Robbie Lawler, landed the highest amount of strikes ever in a welterweight fight at over 500.
Okay, but let's talk about Robbie's game plan real quick.
Robbie was
my head, 4 Colby punches, and just eat shot after shot in front of the royal family, the Trump family.
Yeah,
I really think that Robbie didn't think he would go. I think that's the problem with a lot of people. I think people know that Colby has cardio for days, but they don't believe it.
Yeah.
Like RDA, he had cardio. He's like, oh shit, he has cardio. Robbie, okay, let's wait till the third round to explode. There was no explosion. There's no way to explode. It's
got a chin on him too.
He has a chin.
Oh yeah,
Colby has a hell of a chin.
He just bites down and he swings. I love it.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Seen Colby get hit, but I've never really seen Usman get hit. So see if he's got a chin on. He's got a chin on him.
Okay, let's talk about who had a more difficult fight, like out of Colby's career and Usman's career. Which fight was their most difficult one, and how do you judge it?
Let's see. In recent, go Joe, but in recent, I can't think much.
Tomorrow's toughest fight is definitely Woodley. The thing is, Woodley literally did nothing. If that Woodley shows up, Colby beats him just as easily.
Similar.
Just as easily. He didn't do anything. Stood up against the cage. I get Woodley's game plan up against the cage. That's fine. Against Wonder Boy, against Darren Till, if you're going to counter. But don't go up against the cage against Usman. That's where he wants you to be anyways. Don't go up against the cage against Colby. You know what I mean? Colby and Usman on Saturday, Colby's not going to go up against the cage. No, it's the opposite. It's who can put who against the cage and just go for takedowns and punch and go for takedowns and clinch and go for takedowns and win the round like that. So, yeah, and Colby's toughest fight was arguably, I think it was RDA, to be honest, and he obliterated him. So I'm more impressed with Colby's toughest fight than Usman, just because... You know, it's not fair to Usman to say that, but Woodley literally did nothing. Yeah. Whereas RDA was trying in that fight to do something, but Colby just broke him. So I'll say Colby had the more impressive showing up until now.
Let me ask you guys a question now. Do you think the trash talking because sometimes it's not important, sometimes it's just for show. In this case, I understand Colby, it's not really him, and he's probably a really nice guy. It's what everyone says about him. You met him, you said he's a good guy. The thing is, Usman is not doing this for sure. Usman tried fighting him at a buffet with Ali Abdelaziz. He literally went up to him in line.
Yeah,
as a palm. He came without a shirt with dress pants to stare at him.
Yeah.
When they had I think, does this change anything for this fight? Will Usman abandon his game plan at times to try to punch his head off, even though he normally doesn't do it? Will he? I'm not saying he is. I have no clue. What do you guys think? Do you think he will? He seems like really angry. Like he would fucking kill. He's probably so happy to get in the ring with Colby just to be able to fucking be that close with him to fight with him. But will it affect it?
No, go for it.
That's an amazing point. The only thing I countered out with, what's for Usman the most embarrassing thing is to take him down, is to beat him at wrestling. I think his anger, obviously, I think the knockouts there, but I think for him being embarrassed, it's like John Jones and DC. What was the most embarrassing thing?
I was just gonna fucking say that.
He took him down.
Yeah, what's the most embarrassing thing? Take down the Olympian. Now, here, and Usman said it, he said in a countdown too. He's like, Colby's mad. Colby's mad is because he started wrestling when he was 4 years old, and he started in high school, and he's better. He was in MMA after Colby, and he's champion. So for him to embarrass Colby would be, okay, I took you down, and I took you down repeatedly.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
This
fight's fucking crazy.
That's
what
I think would happen.
Yeah, oh my God. You literally just blew my mind with that. Yeah. Now I completely see this fight. Forget what I said that the wrestling washes out. Imagine it's just a straight up wrestling fight.
I'm down.
Because DC, like you said it perfectly. When Jones took down DC, he couldn't fucking handle it. He just forgot he was even in a fight, that he needed to win, and he just wanted to take down John. That's all he wanted to do for the rest of the fight. These wrestlers are so hard-headed. Mm-hmm. They have to take each other down. They have to not be able to get taken down. So, imagine it's just like a fucking clinching, wrestling, stuffing takedown, going for takedowns type of fight. Oh, I could see that happening now.
You could? You see, I can't. I would find
I could see
interesting. You know why I can't? Because Colby never does that. He doesn't just wrestle. The guy throws constant strikes that lead to his rest. He never just really wrestles. Usman actually just wrestles, at times. Colby always throws all kinds of strikes. Yeah. That's what makes Colby good. If Colby only wrestles, just wrestling, maybe he loses that fight. Who knows? But I hope not. I hope he throws all those. I want to see Usman get all those strikes. I want to see how he reacts to it, because we've never seen that. He never even gets hit, Usman. Have you ever seen Usman, hit? Hurt or anything?
Bloody?
Nothing.
Barely.
Never seen him get hit. I've never seen him get
hit clean. I've never even seen him get hit. Forget rocked. I've never even seen him get hit clean. Body shot, nothing. So
kind of like Khabib, where he got punched once in 10 fucking fights.
Yeah, he did. He never gets hit. So I want to see Colby put that pressure. I want to see how he's going to react. Is he just going to swing for the fences because he wants to fucking kill him? Or is he going to go to his wrestling? It's so interesting.
Oh my God.
It's a hell of a fight.
Okay, who goes for the first takedown, and does he get it? No.
It only makes sense that Colby will go for it because he...
Yeah, I think.
And he always starts off the fight, he runs to the middle. You always see that. He runs for the middle because he wants to get that pressure right away. He wants to go for it. So I think by him striking, I think he'll go for it. But also with that, to even throw myself off, by him going right away, the counteract of him running and the double leg right away from Usman is a perfect.
I can see that.
It's perfect. It's perfect. You saw Jorge. Jorge perfectly. Ben tried going at him and flying knee.
Yeah.
Now you reverse the situation. Colby running in. Usman diving into the double leg.
Oh my God.
I don't really know. It's so possible.
Yeah, the more you think about this fight, the more harder it gets. It's just so hard.
It's the best fight. It's the best fight of the year, and it's up there with Khabib and Ferguson.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I can't imagine. I cannot imagine Colby taking down Usman, and I can't imagine Usman taking out Colby. I've never seen both those guys on their back.
Exactly. Never. It's so weird. It's kind of like Khabib and Ferguson, where you're like, fuck, I can't picture any of them losing. Like, it's going to be weird to see one of them lose, you know? You know what I mean? Like,
are you more
I can't
shocked?
picture...
Would you be shocked that, like, what would you be more shocked of someone knocking someone out? Or like Colby or Colby dominating the wrestling the whole match, or Usman dominating the wrestling the whole match? What's more shocking to you, that one guy gets dominated by wrestling or one guy gets knocked out?
Okay, I think it depends who. Let's say I don't watch this fight, and the next day I wake up and I just have to read what happened, and I read Colby via like head kick, knockout. Colby, I said.
Colby, the Planet of the Apes. Colby.
Nah, Colby, like by head kick knockout or something, that'd be the craziest. But
that's possible.
There's been crazier things.
Do you think that's possible? A head kick knockout? I think that's
most unlikely. Anything is fucking possible.
Oh my god. Okay, a question for both you guys. Who has the better jits?
Better jits?
Who has better jits?
Great question. Neither guy really even goes for submissions. They just enjoy the control and the domination.
Well, Usman, I'll give you some stats. You guys can answer the question. Usman, in his career, landed a arm triangle choke, and his only loss comes to a rear naked choke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Whereas my boy Colby Covington, the American Steel, sex appeal, in his career, he actually got a rear naked choke, and he got a rear naked choke, an arm triangle, a submission, knee injury, we don't count that, another arm triangle, and his only loss is a guillotine choke. He also got a TKO by submission punches, but it counted as a TKO.
Okay, tap out due to strikes.
Yes, but both the losses are from a submission.
Yeah. I think if the submission's there, they'll go for it, obviously. But I don't think the submission's gonna be there for either guy. Super hard to submit.
I don't. That would be pretty shocking if it's winner by submission.
I'd be honestly more shocked if one of them submits the other than if they knock each other, than if one of them knocks the other one out. You know what I mean?
Even though both their losses are only
like picture Colby getting Usman in like a rear naked. What?
It's possible.
Cool.
Like, that's fucked. Of course it's possible, but it just seems so fucked.
Mm-hmm. And especially that Colby never, like, his strategy is not to, like, KO you one punch. It would be crazy. I really don't think that's going to happen, though. Let's be real. If maybe Usman knocking him out, but even that's just because he has a little more power. But I don't know. They're all crazy.
Another crazy thing is every time a fight is supposed to be super close and this and that, it usually ends up being like a one-sided destruction, which is also possible. But I think it's going to be a close fight. A lot of strikes, a lot of wrestling, a lot of back and forth, a lot of Joe Rogan freaking out. I think it's going to be one of those. I hope it is, at least.
Yeah, I don't see how it wouldn't be. I feel like either one of them really, really, really don't want to lose to each other, so I think we're going to see them give it their all more than even usual, like 150%.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Picks. Let's hear it.
Picks. I said it before. I'll repeat it. Colby does just a little bit more, just enough, maybe a bit more strikes, a bit more takedown attempts. Colby give me a split decision. Colby Chaos Covington and you. So I'm going to go and you for my 3 picks.
Okay. I'll tell you my pick. In the main event, I think Usman's going to do it. Still, yeah. And I really like Colby, but I think Usman's going to do it. Split. Millz?
I think Colby is going to take it. But a real question that I need to ask myself is that Colby obviously has more tools. I think because of his striking, and obviously they're not damaging, but I think it would be enough. But it could be a possible draw.
Yeah.
There's a possibility.
God, I hope not.
The possibility of a draw but
Pretty high here.
But I'm leaning more to Colby.
Okay. Fair.
Very close.
So you guys are against me for that one. We'll see what happens.
It's very tough, man.
Well,
that fight it's a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a great fight to top off a great, it's not the best event of the year. We'll see if it lives up to the hype. I'm sure it will. But, of course, we'll be tuning in on Saturday,
100%.
December 14th, only on pay-per-view. Be sure to order that bad boy. It will not disappoint. And I think that wraps it up for us here at 2.5 Fighters. Yeah, boys want to add anything?
Well,
say goodbye.
Yeah, lately, guys, I know we haven't done as many podcasts, but we're going to get back on track. And, yeah, we're going to do some fun Christmas podcasts.
Yeah,
maybe some that are not as MMA heavy, like this one, but we have no choice with such a good card ahead of us.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's about it for me. Millz?
Yeah, man, I can't wait for the fight.
Yeah. We don't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah,
we just care about those fights.
It was a bit of a break from UFC events, but it's coming back. But like my brother said, yeah, we'll get into some other stuff towards the holidays, some New Year's Eve, best of the year podcast, and get some more guests for you guys.
Oh, one more thing, guys. We want to do these little segments, really short ones called like What If, like some fantasy fights, or honestly, they can be as crazy as you want them. Feel free to send us over some possible fantasies you have. We could try to break them down. Not sexual fantasies, you sick fucks, but fantasies and fights.
Those crazy freaks and geeks and their antics of sexuality. How dare they? That time of the year, they're thinking of sexual shit.
You stupid fucks.
Like what women are likely to like make out each other during fights? I would probably think it's like Michelle Waterson.
That's what you hope, but that's not the actual outcome.
You don't think
Michelle Waterson? 2 women to make out. Probably our girl Jermaine Durandamy at noon Saturday.
Wow.
I don't want to see that.
We want to see us throw down.
Is that the most disgusting hookup?
No,
Jermaine and Nunes.
Jermaine and Nunes.
I mean, it's not great, but
it might be the most
it's pretty fucking bad.
It's out there. It's definitely out there.
I think it's the best.
There's even, there's some other horrible ones, but we'll keep it at that.
Yeah, let's keep it at that. Wishing both women the best of luck.
Yeah.
In the fight and in their sexual
endeavors.
All right, on that note, we'll call it a night. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, and all the other socials.
Anchor,
MSN.
We're on everything. Bring back
MSN. Laval, Montreal North, St. Michel.
All over the city.
We're everywhere. We're in your homes right now.
Right now.
Or at your work.
All right, freaks and geeks. Enjoy the week and enjoy the fights on Saturday.
Later.
Take it easy.
Godspeed.